This lady cannot get into her own house. It'd be funny if I took this peanut butter and put it in a bag. Peanut butter in a bag. Tiny swamp right here next to Walmart. Parking on the side of the road. Compete with the trucks. Yeah, so certainly behind the Walmart. I didn't really look at the parking lot. I guess I will later. Another move. This is kind of cool. Pilates for men. I like that movement. I'll set to make some comments about Weldon Barber and how it looks like a franchise, but I see there's a free orange here, so I'm going to point that out. A free orange across the street from the Orange Theory Fitness. Weldon Barber. Now that's interesting because you don't see many barber shops that are a franchise. But I've seen another Weldon Barber down in the southern part. I guess it could be something like Supercuts, because Supercuts is a franchise for cutting hair. There must be some advantages to doing that. Probably bulk discounts on merchandise or something. It's like when I got into the marble game when I was in grade school. I begged my mom to get marbles, and then she did, and then I turned around and give them to a guy who's like, yeah, I'll hold on to your marbles in a bucket. And he was holding on to them with several people. My mom got wind of that and got angry. Taught me a lesson about never going into business with other people. That's my mom's lesson. And of course there's definite advantages and disadvantages to going into business with other people. Alright, I guess we'll take a look inside the North Library.
Oh, he's over here. It says right here. There's only one copy. You should try it again.
Do a penny farthing race?
No, I never did.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Penny farthings? Those are those bicycles with the big tire, the big wheel, and the...
All those big ugly...
I think they're called penny farthings.
Are they really?
Yeah, I was on the internet, and
Yeah.
they showed an old video of 1920s
Oh,
doing a penny farthing.
gee.
There's two guys racing each other, like maybe in the Olympics or something.
Gee whiz.
But they also had the regular bicycles too back then, but they were still doing the penny farthing races.
I never heard of such a thing.
Yeah. You ever see those wooden bicycles? You push them. There's no sprockets. There's no pedals.
No, I never did.
Yeah, I was in Warrenton, Oregon. They have Civil War Recreation Society.
Yeah.
In like July this time of year. I don't know if it's going on now, but there's a guy who was pushing his wooden bicycle around. You know, no rubber on the tires.
Gee whiz.
You know, just wood. I think he put metal on the tires on the outside.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, one guy asked him, how many gears do you have, or how many speeds do you have? And you know what the answer is?
Oh.
2. You know, and he stomped his feet down. 1, 2. My 2 speeds.
Yeah.
That yeah, he was doing a riding around, and you just see it's like doing extended walking.
Yeah.
Or something with that.
Yeah.
You know, going You know, going way back, you
Yeah.
know, in the old days for
That
bikes.
is way back.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you talk about old bikes, you know, one with the big front wheel and the little tiny
Yeah,
back wheel.
I think they're called penny farthings.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Those go way back,
Yeah,
yeah.
they go back.
I don't know how long they were popular for.
Not very long.
You see them in museums every so often.
Yeah, and on old movies or something.
And in movies, yeah. Or like the Jackass, this TV show, they were crashing the penny farthings into hills and stuff, just getting, because you can hurt yourself pretty good if you got in an accident in those.
Yeah, you really could.
Just falling over, that's like falling off of half of a building or something.
Yeah, that's right. What are they, about 5 feet in diameter or something?
They're, yeah, the specifics, you know, escape me, but it's a little too tall for me.
Yeah, me too.
I just prefer sticking with what I got.
Well, it's a nice looking bike. I'm in the mood to get another bike, and
oh yeah,
I'm kind of keeping my eyes open.
Well then, yeah, you could order it off of bikesdirect.com and get a good deal.
Okay.
They make it a cheaper price because apparently you gotta like put together some parts.
Oh, I see.
But I mean, I didn't have to put much together really.
Oh.
When I bought it, I bought 2 bicycles off of that website, and the first time I had to put a lot more together.
Oh.
I actually had to put the brake discs on.
Gee.
But this time I didn't. They were actually already on, so there wasn't really much I had to put together. Just the handlebars, you know, that was easy. You know, just set that all up. I gotta say the spokes have been breaking a little too much.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I had to replace spokes like almost 10 times now.
Gee, I never heard of such a thing.
Spokes on a bicycle breaking.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they were a cheaper spoke.
They must be.
It just doesn't. I never had it happen before.
I never had that happen at all.
No? Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's strange.
So it's just yeah, they've been maybe getting a discount, or maybe it's just the manufacturing process wasn't perfect and they have brittle spokes or something, but
yeah, or maybe they.
Alright, so the look of this wood, this setup here, they're extremely long pieces. It's saying, I think it says it charges you $214 per foot. And I measured my arm length, and I come out at 3 feet. So I'm thinking I had 2 3-foot lengths for my arm, to full extension of the arm length, and that would be sufficient working up against walls. Aspen Dental is quite a franchise. I've seen that at different places. I just had this guy bring up in the comments some argument about pronouncing words correctly. And I'm like, well, how does anybody know how the original word was to be pronounced if you're not a part of the local area? But that's probably a really weak argument, because you got like this place in Warrenton, Oregon, where they're calling it the Ardale, or yeah, they call it there's a ship that wrecked on the coast. They call it the Ardale. It looks like Iredale because of the way the spelling is. It looks like Ireland, but instead it's Iredale. They're calling it Ardale, and he's like, well, maybe it's a local dialect. And I'm like, well, the ship wasn't made in Warrenton, Oregon. That's where it wrecked. The local dialect became its own unique pronunciation for that shipwreck. But what about the original name and the pronunciation for it when it was made? Wherever that was. Could have been on the East Coast. I just saw a sign that said no bicycles on this road. How do people get around? I'm a little confused why they didn't put a sidewalk on this section of Division Road. Alright, Alright, so here's what looks like a bank that they never bothered to put a fence around. It's just kind of sitting here. Maybe it was a recent... Yeah, violators will be... They put a warning sign. How's it looking there? We've moved to it is Wells Fargo. I find it interesting that they don't have much for security. Shows how civil the locals have been because they would be no, actually. Okay, so people aren't taking advantage of it. That's a surprise. Oh, I was gonna look in this window. You can only look in through the doors. Is there anything available to see? It's really nice looking. Yeah, this is a very busy area. It's called the Wake Up Call. Looks like we got some protesters. Or no, bus drivers. Alright, here's the mall. I think I'll only come as far as the mall, as hot as it is. If this is a mall, this is a weird mall. So I was mistaken, that's not the mall. Here's Franklin Park. The mall is just a little further down. Franklin Park is huge. Once again, there's a no bicycling sign. They discourage bicycling. See if I can get some shoes for my size. It's a Shoe Department Encore. This is quite a hangout.